We begin today the Gemara on Daf Ayin Daled Amud Beis, 5 lines up from the bottom of the Yomad. The Gemara continues here, the Agadete, different stories about very great things that Rabbi Barbachana saw and other Amirayim saw in their travels. Simen, Yamim, Gavriel, Rav. Ki Asa Rav Dimi, Rab Yechanan. When Rav Dimi came, he said in the name of Rab Yechanan, Mai Dechsiv. What is the meaning of the pasuk where it says Kihu al Yamim Yisada, that he founded it on the seas? This refers to Eretz Yisrael. And Val Naharas Yechananel, he established it on rivers. Elu Shiva Yamim, this refers to 7 seas, Varba Naharis, and 4 rivers. Shemakifin es Eretz Yisrael, that surround Eretz Yisrael. Ve'elu Ein, and these are the 7 seas, Shiva Yamin, Yamashal Tveria, Yamashal Zdaim, Yamashal Chelas, Yamashal Chilsa, V'yam Ashal Sivchi, V'yam Aspamya, V'yam Hagadol. These are the 4 Yamim around Eretz Yisrael. Ve'elin Arba Nahares, these are the 4 rivers, Yarden, V'yarmuch, V'kirumin, Ufiga. Rav Dimi, Amar Rab Yonasan. When Rav Dimi came, he said in the name of Rab Yonasan. This is continuing, the Gemara spoke before about the Levyasan. Asid, Gavriel, Lasis, Kenigya, in Levyasan. Las Lavai, Gavriel is going to make a Kenigya. The Rashbam translates Kenigya as a capturing. He's going to capture the Levyasan. Ben Gershom here translates Kenigya as this war, this fight. There's going to be a war between the Levyasan. In the Medrash it says a Kenigya between the Levyasan and the Shei Rabbar. Ben Gershom says a Muhammad. Shenemar, the pasuk says, Hatimshech Levyasan. Are you going to drag in the Levyasan, bechaka with a hook, or bechevel with a rope, tashkia l'shaynai, pressing down its tongue? V'male HaKadosh Baruch Hu Eizrai, if the Eibishter would not help Gavriel, ein yacholei, we wouldn't have the ability to capture the Levyasan. Shenemar, we can understand this from what the pasuk says. This pasuk says by the Shei Rabbar, ha'oisoi yigash charbai. The one that creates it will bring a sword to him. So just like by the Shoyer, Habar, only the Eibishter can kill it. Similar regarding the Levyasan. Ki Yasir Rav Dimi, Amar Rav Yechanan. When Rav Dimi came, he said in the name of Rav Yechanan about the Levyasan. B'shah shel Levyasan Rav, when the Levyasan is hungry, Moitzi Hevel Mipiv, there's the hot air comes, or breath, it breathes out of its mouth. Umartiach Komei Mishab Mitzula, and it heats up and it boils up the waters in the depths of the seas. Shenema, like the pasuk says, Yatiach Kisir Mitzula, it boils like a pot that's boiling in the Mitzula. If the Levyasan would stick its head into Gan Eden, no creature could stand from its smell, a bad smell. Shenemar yam yosim kemerkacha, that it makes the yam like a merkacha, which is spices that create a bad smell. When the Levyasan is thirsty, it creates furrows in the yam. It digs all the way down to the Tahaim looking for water. Shenema, as the pasuk says, Achrav, after the Levyasan, Yor Nesiv, shines a pathway from what it was digging. Amar Avacha Bayakiv, Ein Tahaim, Chayzelei Sanei. The Tahaim, the abyss that was emptied out from water, or water was taken out of it through the Levyasan, does not return to its strength at Shivim Shana, till 70 years. Shenemar Yachshev Tahaim L'Seva, the Tahaim will return in the time of Seva. Seva is the amount of 70 years that you come to the age of Seva. As the Gemara says, Vein Seva Pchusa Mishivim, it's no less than 70 years. Amar Rabbi Yechanan, Asa Kadosh Baruch Hu La'asais Suda L'Tzadikim. When Mashiach comes, the Eibusher will prepare a meal for the Tzadikim, Mipsarei Shel Levyasan, from the flesh of the Levyasan. Shenemar Yichru Olav Chavarim. Then kara, the term kara here means elasuda, means that there will be a meal. Shenema v'yichru lehem kara gedayla v'yichlu v'yishtu. So you see that it refers to eating. Then chavarem, over here you could read chaverim, elo talmidei chachamim. It refers to the talmidei chachamim. Shenema yesheves baganim, those that sit in gardens. Chaverim akshivim l'kailech. The chaverim, the talmidei chachamim, hear your voice. Hashmiyini, let your voice be heard. So that's the meal for the talmidei chachamim. Ashar, and the remainder of the flesh of the Levyasan that will not be with the Talmid Chachamim, it's distributed, and business is done with it, selling it to the marketplace of Yerushalayim. Shenem, as the pasuk says, Yachzuhu, it'll be divided between Canaanim. Who's the Canaanim? Ben Canaanim el Tagadim. The Canaanim are merchants. Shenemar, because the pasuk says Canaan biyodai meizne merma, a merchant that has in his hands deceitful weights, lashekoiv, to trick someone else. So you see the word Canaan means a merchant. V'baisem mehacha asher sechareh asarim Cananea nichbadei yaretz. So the word Cananea also means merchants. Omer Rabbi Yechanan Osid HaKadosh Baruch Hu lasis suda latzadike me'oire shel Yasan, a sukkah, and that when Mashiach comes, the Eibusher will build a sukkah for the tzaddikim from the skin of the Levyasan. Shenema, as the pasuk says, hatemale b'sukkahs oirei, that the Eibusher will fill from the sukkah. In other words, the Eibusher will make a sukkah from the hide, from the skin of the Levyasan. Now, zacha, if you'll be zeiche Oisin loy sukkah. The Eibusher will make a sukkah. And the sukkah means both the walls and the covering on the top will all be from the skin of the Levyasan. Loy zacha, if you're not zeicha to that degree, oisin loy tziltzol. Then the Eibusher will make for you just the shade on the top will be from the skin of the Levyasan, but not the walls. Shenemar, and another pasuk it says, b'tziltzol dogim roishei. That the tziltzol, the shade, comes from the dogim, from the fish, from the Levyasan. Further, zacha, those that are zeicha, oisin loy tziltzol, will have the skin of the Levyasan as a shade for them. Loy zacha, if you're not zeicha to that degree, oisin loy anak. Eibusher will make for you a necklace from the skin of the Levyasan. Shenem v'anokim legargaresecha, a necklace for your neck. Zacha, those that are zeicha, oisin loy anak. Eibusher will make for them a necklace. Loy zacha, if you're not zeicha, oisin loy kameya. The Eibusher will make you an amulet. Shenem v'tikshirenu lenarisecha. The Eibusher will tie it for you like for the maidens. Vashar, the rest of the skin of the Levyasan, Poisei HaKadosh Baruch Hu al Chaimis Yerushalayim, the Eibusher will spread it out on the walls of Yerushalayim. V'zivay mavik, and its shine, its radiance will shine from one end of the world to the other. Shenem, as the pasuk says, V'holchu goyim la'oirech, the goyim will go to your light, the malachim l'neged zarchech, and the malachim, the kings, to the radiance that shines from the skin of the Levyasan. So I mentioned yesterday that the Yin of Levyasan, it says in Likutei Torah, Chassidus, that it refers to the level of the Avodah of Tzadikim, that the Levyasan, it comes also from the word Apam Yelav Ishi Eloi, when someone is accompanying the Eibishter and he's on a level where he's removed from this world, an Avodah of Mesiris Nefesh. That's what Alter Rebbe says in Likutei Torah. Regarding this sukkah of Oire Shel Levyasan, there's a Rishimah from the Rebbe where he explains there that there's a Bisman Hazeh, to make a sukkah from the skin of the Levyasan is possible, because it has to be from something that Gedulei Karka, grows from the ground. Bisman Hazeh, until you come to the Shleimus of the Gili of Yemei HaMashiach, we can't reach to this level. But when Mashiach comes, Levyasan, this level of Hapam Yelav Ishi Eloi, the deepest connection to the Eibishter, will be revealed in the sukkah. In another place there in the Rishimah, the Rebbe explains all the details the Gemara speaks about here, whether this Levyasan will be the entire sukkah, the walls and the roof, which refers to a level where the person is completely elevated, or only the shade on the top, when only the meichin is elevated, or the necklace refers to the midis, which is the place where the head attaches to the rest of the body, the heart of the person, or only the amulet, which is just one akudah, this thing that's made as a segula, which hints to the emunah of a yid. Those are the different levels that the Gemara is talking about. The pasuk says, we just mentioned about the remainder of the hide of the Levyasan being placed on the walls of Yerushalayim. So the Gemara here brings different things about Yerushalayim Lasad Lavai. The pasuk says, "V'samti katkoit shim shisayich." The Eibusher will make shim shisayich. One pshat is it refers to the windows. Another pshat is it refers to the stones of the walls of the city of Yerushalayim. The Eibusher will make them out of katkoit, which is a precious gem. Which precious gem is this? Amar Rav Shmuel ben Achmeni pligibot trei malachi. There were two angels that argued about this. Malachi b'Rikiya, that is, the angels in heaven. Gavriel and Michal. V'amri la trei amirai b'marave. Others say that there were two amirai in Eretz Yisrael that argued. Man inon, who are they? Yehuda v'Chizkiya b'nei Rab Chiya, the sons of Rab Chiya. Chadama, one said Shoyam, that it's the Shoyam stone. Chadama Yoshvei. Another said it's Yoshvei. Amalahu HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Eibusher says to them, Leheve kedein kedein. Let it be like both opinions. So on this there's a long mimer in Likutei Torah, actually in this week's parsha, or it's actually from the Haftarah of Parshas Re'eh. You don't have Likutei Torah and Parshas Shoftim. There, the Alter Rebbe explains this Indian of the two stones, Shoyam and Yoshvei. Shoyam is a regular stone that shines, but Yoshvei is a stone that has a nature that it has a unique sparkle that's different than the Shoyam. One refers to a Gilui and a Veda that comes, brings a Gilimul Maila, and one is the Gilimul Mata, the Maila of the Aveda, when a person generates from below, the Maila of Asrusa de Lisata. And there's a Maila to each one of them. When the Gili comes Mul Maila, it's Bligvol. When it's Aveda from below, it's more Bepnimius. And the Eivish is saying, Lasad Lavai, the Gilui that will be both Mailas. It'll be completely Bligvol, and at the same time, it'll be totally Bepnimius. Then the pasuk says, "Usharayich," the gates of Yerushalayim la'avne ekdoch will be from stones that will be carved out as precious gems. So what does this mean? Ki hadi Yosef Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Yechanan was sitting with Kadosh and he darshan. Osid Hakadosh Baruch Hu lahavi avonim tovus and magali. As the Eibush is going to bring precious gems and pearls, shem shloishim al shloishim, that will be the size of 30 by 30 amas, massive precious gems. The chaykik behen, and the Eibush will carve out in them. That's why it says ekdoch. Eser al esrim, 10 amas wide by 20 amas tall, umamidon b'shai Yerushalayim, and that will be the entrance, the gates to enter into Yerushalayim. That's how Rabbi Yechanan explained this pasuk. Liglil Galav Oisei Talmud, so the student of his was mocking this, that he said, Hashte kepeise de tzitzel mashkechina. We don't find a precious gem that's the size of a egg from a dove, tzitzla that is, kula hai mashkechinan. You'll find a precious gem that's so massive. L'yamim, there were days later, hifliges finase bayam. This student went out with a boat in the yam. Chaza, he saw malachi hasharis, he saw ministering angels, the yasvi, the kominsiri avanim tevis margolius, that they're carving out precious gems and pearls. Sheheim lamed al lamed, that are this size that Rabbi Yechanan said, 30 by 30 amas. And the chakik be'em esabru mesrim, and it's being carved out 10 by 20. So Malahu, the student said to the Malachim, Hani Laman, who are you carving this out for? Amru Leis, so they answered him, Sha'asir, the Kodesh Baruch Hu, Lahamidon, B'shari Yerushalayim. The Tevish is going to place them in the entrances of Yerushalayim. So now after this, so the student came back to Rabbi Yechanan and Amalei, and he said to Rabbi Yechanan, Draish, you should continue darshaning the Psukim, Rabbi, L'cha, Noah, Lidraish, Kasha, Marta, Kain Reisi. Exactly like you said is what I saw myself. Amalei, Rabbi Yechanan said to him, Reika, empty one. Ilmale reisa leia manta. If not for the fact that you saw, you wouldn't believe. Melagleg al divrei chachamim ata. You are scoffing on the words of the chachamim. Nasan einav by Rabbi Yechanan looked at him sharply. V'nasa gal shalatzamas, and he turned into a pile of bones. Expression the Gemara uses different times. This student must have been a great person if the Eibush allowed him to see what the malachim are doing, but nevertheless didn't have the full emunah, and this was his end. So on this, the Gemara asks, according to what Rabbi Yechanan said, it comes out that the height of the entrance to the city of Yerushalayim is 20 amas. But Meisvei, it says in the Braise, the pasuk says, "Va'oilech eschem kaimemius," that Lasad Lavei, the Eibush will make you go upright. Kaimemius. What is kaimemius? Rab Meir Aime Masayim Ama. That this means that Lasad Lavei, the Yidden will be tall 200 amas. Why? The term kaimimius, a plural term, refers to the two levels of height of Adam Rishon. Gemara Chagigi says that Rashbam brings Adam Rishon was 100 amas tall after the Eibishter lowered his height. So Lasad Lavai, Yidden will be twice his size, which is 200 amas high. Rabbi Yehuda says Mei Amma, that Yidden will be 100 amas tall. Kenega, he doesn't darshan at Lashon Rabbim. He says it's the height of Adam Rishon. Kenega at Heichel Uksalav, like the height of the Heichel and its walls. Shenema, as the pasuk says, Asher b'nei kinetiyim v'gedolim. Our children will be like the plants that grow tall. B'neureim, b'neisenu kezavius mechutovis tabnes Heichel. Like the corners carved out, like the structure of the Heichel. So you see here that they'll be like the height of the Heichel. So the question is, in the Braise we see a machlokes. Either the Yidden are going to be 100 amas tall or 200 amas tall. So how is the entrances to Yerushalayim, according to what Rabbi Yechanan said, carved out in these precious gems, only 20 amas tall? So the Gemara answers, Ki kam Rabbi Yechanan. When Rabbi Yechanan said that this is placed in the walls of Yerushalayim, it doesn't mean as the entrances. It means the kavi, the bezika. This is for the windows that were in the walls, that are made for the wind to come into Yerushalayim. That's what these precious gems were made for. This is also something that's spoken about in Chassidus in a lot of places. The pshat of this kaimemius. There's a sikh in Chelik Zayin where the Rebbe speaks about this Barichas Gedela. There, the Rebbe actually points out that Rabbi Yehuda, even though he says that it's only 100 amas tall, what he says is really on a higher level than Rabbi Meir. Because when it says 2 times the height of Adam Rishon, also refers to 2 dargas and Avodas Hashem, the Avodah of Tzadikim, the Avodah of Bali Tshuva. According to Rabbi Yehuda, both of these dargas will be combined as one. And that's why it's only 100 amas tall. There's a greater mile when you combine both of them as one thing. That explains it by Barichas Gedayla exactly these 2 dargas and Avodas Hashem. The Eibush will make 7 chuppahs for every tzaddik. Shenem, as the pasuk says, "Ubara Hashem al kol machen hartzion va'al mikraeha," and those that call out, "Onon yoimam va'oshan v'noiga eish lahava laila ki al kol kavod chuppah." So from here you see that if you can't turn the pasuk, is 7 different things that it says, which refers to 7 different chuppahs. Rashbami says that the words called kavod chuppah is not counted as the 7th, but you count what it says before there in the pasuk sukatil etzel yomim as the 7th. And the Gemara here darshans on al kavod chuppah is something else. Malamid shekol echad ve'echad oisel le'akadosh baruch hu chuppah lefi kvaydai. The Eibishter will make for everyone their chuppah according to the level of the honor that he deserves. And that's the type called kavod chuppah. Everybody will have a unique level of a chuppah. Okay, now Oshan b'chuppah lama. One of the things that it mentions was in the pasuk that we just brought regarding the chuppah is a smoke. So why is there a smoke in this chuppah? Anybody that had a bad eye and Talmidei Chachamim in this world didn't allow Talmidei Chachamim to have a no from their money, his eyes will be filled with smoke, he won't see anything. And then the Eish b'chuppah lamali, or lama that is, it's mentioned in the pasuk that there'll be fire in this chuppah. What is the fire about? Amar Rab Chanina, Malamed, this teaches that then every person will be burnt by the chuppah of his friend that will be on a higher level than him, so he'll get burnt from that. And Oila la'isa busha, Oila la'isa klima. Woe to that embarrassment and klima, also embarrassment, in that time when someone will see that he's in a lower level than someone else. Similar, it says about Yeshua, that the radiance from some of the radiance of Moshe Rabbeinu was placed on Yeshua, but not all of the radiance. The elders of that generation said, that the face of Moshe shined like the sun, but Pnei Yeshua k'pnei levana. The face of Yeshua was only like a levana, oila lo isa busha, oila lo isa klima. And this is also an embarrassment. And some of Farshim say that it wasn't Yeshua's embarrassment, but the Gemara is saying here that it was the embarrassment of the people of the generation, that they weren't zeiche to have somebody on the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. Amar Rab Chama bar Chanina, or Amar Rab Chama Chanina, Eser chupais, 10 chupais, Osa Kadosh Baruch Hu Adam Rishon Gan Eden. The Eibishter made for Adam Rishon Gan Eden. Shenem, as the pasuk says, Be'eden Gan Alekim Ayisa Kol Even Yekara V'Gaimen. If you continue there, the pasuk. When you get the pasuk here, it says 10 different precious gems. Even Yekara, Mesuchasecha, Eidem, Pitta, Yalim, Tarsha, Shayim, Yashri, Saper, Neifach, Barkes, and Zohav. Those are 10 different chuppahs made from these precious gems. Now, Mazutra says, it's 11. Shenema kol Even Yekara. You also count the words Even Yekara as one of the chuppahs. Rabbi Yechanan said about these 10 chuppahs, the Garua Shebekulam, the one that's the least quality of all of them is the gold. Because Chashav Leila B'Saif, it's mentioned the last. And another pasuk, it says, what does it mean when the pasuk says, Meleches, so this is actually the continuation of that pasuk. Meleches tupayich u'nekavayich, or nekavecha, again, Meleches tupecha u'nekavecha bach. The work of your taif is a drum, the work of your drum and your holes of you, in you. What is this referring to? Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav, Amalek Kadosh Baruch Hu leCheiram Melech Tzur. The Eibishter says to Cheiram, the king of Tzur, Bach nistakalti. I looked at you, and because of what I saw in you, ubarasi nekavim nekavim ba'adam. That's why I created the openings, the holes in a person that he has to relieve for himself. The reason is because the Eibishter saw that he's going to make himself as a god, and the Eibishter didn't want a human being to ever speak like this. So therefore, the Eibishter created a person in a way that he shouldn't be able to say this about himself. V'kedamri, others say, and this is compared. The Rashbam says it says nikovim here, but it also says tupecha. Tupecha is made. The drum is made hollow. You put in it, so you cover something on top of it. V'kedamri, others say hochika amar. This is what the Eibusha says. B'chones takalti. I looked at you, the king of Tzur, v'kanasti misa al adam erishin, and that's the reason why I brought misa on adam erishin. So tupecha, the Rashbam says, which is hollow, is a remes to the kaver, which is hollow in the ground. What's the meaning of the pasuk that was quoted before regarding Yerushalayim? Before quoted the pasuk, it says, "Uvara Hashem al kol mochen hartzion v'al mikro eha." That pasuk that it spoke about the chuppis lasted lavai. So what does the words v'al mikro eha mean? Amar Rabba Amar Rabbi Yechanan loy ki Yerushalayim shel olam hazeh Yerushalayim shel olam haba. The Yerushalayim of today is not like the Yerushalayim of olam haba. Yerushalayim shalayim mazeh kol hareitzel aletz oyla. Whoever wants could go into Yerushalayim. Shalayim haba ein oilin ela mezumanim lo. In olam haba, only those that are invited will be able to go into Yerushalayim of olam haba, and that's the meaning of the words al mikra eha. Those that will be called and will be invited. That is asidin tzadikin shenikram mashmei shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu. In the future, tzadikim, their name will be the name of the Eibishter. Shenema kol hanikra b'shmi. That this goes on the tzaddikim that will be called in my name and the Eibish's name. Or Rabbi Yechanan, Gimel Nikru al Shmoi Shel Hakadosh Baruch Hu. There are three that are named with the Eibish's name. The Eloheim, Tzaddikim, Mashiach, V'Yerushalayim. Tzaddikim, Hodamara, we just mentioned the pasuk al Nikra b'Shmi. And Mashiach, T'chsiv, V'zeh Shmoi Asher Yikru Hashem Tzidkenu. And Yerushalayim d'chsiv Saviv Shmoina Asa Elef and V'Shem Ma'ir Miyayim Hashem Shama. Al Tikri Shama, which means there, El Shema. It's its name. Its name is the name of the Eibishter. Amar Rabbi Lazar, Asidin Tzadikim Sheyoimru or Sheoimrim Lefneim Kodesh. In the future, it'll be said to the Tzadikim, just like we say on the Eibishter Kodesh, it'll be said on the Tzadikim that they are Kodesh. Those that will be the remnants of Tzion, those that are left there, Yerushalayim, Kadosh, Ye'omer Loi, referring to the Tzadikim. This Gemara is brought L'Kutei Torah many times in Tzadikim B'chlal. This is through fulfilling mitzvahs. A Yid, the Tzadikim, get the Kedusha of mitzvahs just like the Eibishter himself. V'amar Rabba Amar Rabbi Yechanan, Osek HaKadosh Baruch Hu La'Gbiya is Yerushalayim, the Eibishter in the future will lift up the city of Yerushalayim, Gimel Parsois Lamaila, 3 parsa higher up. Shenem, as the pasuk says, V'roima, meaning that it will be lifted up, it will be, or V'roima, V'yoshva Ketachtea, or V'yoshva Tachtea. What does V'yoshva Tachtea mean? My Tachtea, Ketachtea. It'll be elevated like the size, the way it is, but it's here below. Which means, just like the size of Yerushalayim is the size of 3 parsois, the height of how much it's going to be lifted up will be that amount of 3 parsois. How do I know that the size of Yerushalayim is 3 parsa? This Saba, this older person said to me, I saw Yerushalayim, the size, the way it was originally, it was the size of 3 parsa. So now maybe you'll say, that it'll be painful to climb up, to go to Yerushalayim when it's so tall. Talmud Loima, so the pasuk says, how are we going to go up to Yerushalayim? Mi'ela, who are these that ka'ov to ufena, that fly up like with a cloud, and like the doves that go up to their cots. Rav Papa said, Shema Minah, from here we see, Hai Iba, this cloud, tlasa parsa midli, lifts up, it goes up 3 parsa. The Eibishter originally wanted to give Yerushalayim that it should be in a size that's measured. In other words, it should be smaller and measured. Shanema, as the pasuk says, Va'omer, and the Eibishter says, and I said, Ona atahaylech, where are you going to? Vayeme elai lomades Yerushalayim. I went to measure the city of Yerushalayim, lidois, to see kama rachba v'kama arka, how wide and how long is it. So the Amram Malach Eshos of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. So the Malachim said to the Eibishter, Rebbeinu Shalayla, Master of the universe, Harbe Krachim, Berasa Beilamecha Shalom B'Saylam. Many cities of the nations of the world you created. And you didn't measure it, the length and the width. Yerushalayim, Sheshimcha B'Soicha. Yerushalayim, that your name is in it, as the Gemara before brought, that it's the Eibish's name. And Mugdashcha B'Soicha, the Beis HaMikdash is in it. The Tzadikim B'Soicha, the Tzadikim are in the city of Yerushalayim. Atanoisim B'Midah, you're giving it a certain size. Miyad, immediately it says after that in the pasuk, in the next pasuk, Vayoyme Elov, the Eibush said to him, Rutz Daber Alanar Allah, go and speak to this lad, Lema, and tell him, Perozais Teisha Yerushalayim, that the city of Yerushalayim should be Perozais, it's spread out, it's open city, Miroi Vadam Behemoth B'Seicha, from the many people and behemoths that are in it. Amar Eish Lakish said, Osta Kadosh Baruch Hu Lohaisef Al Yerushalayim, the Eibush in the future will add to the city of Yerushalayim, Elef Tefef Ginois, 1,000 tefef of gardens. So the Rashbam's pshat is that the word tefef is just a word which is a gematria, meaning 1,000 times the gematria of the word tefef. That's how many gardens there will be. Taisva says that tefef is not a gematria. Tefef means equal, the same 1,000 gardens in the city of Shalim. Elef kefel migdalim, 1,000 kefel of towers. So the Rashbam again says kefel is just a gematria, 1,000 times the gematria of the word kefel. And elef litzui biraniyais, 1,000 times the gematria of the word litzui of biraniyais, which are palaces. And elef v'ushnei shiloi, and 1,002 times the gematria of the word shiloi tutfrois, of small houses. That's what's going to be added in the city of Yerushalayim. V'cholachas v'achas, in each one of them, Havya Kitzipairi, will be as large as the city of Tzipairi B'Shalvasa, in the time of its peace, in the time of its prosperity. So now how large was Tzipairi? Tanya, Amr Rabbi Yosi said, Ani re'isi Tzipairi B'Shalvasa, I saw Tzipairi in its prosperity, V'hayu b'meya u'shmainim elef shvakim sh'moichet tzikik data. There was 180,000 markets with people that were selling what was cooked in a pot, meat cooked in a pot. That's how large the city was. Another pasuk that's darshan on the city of Yerushalayim, Vatzlois Tzela al Tzela, Shalosh Ushloishim Pa'amim. So the pasuk here is actually simply speaking about the chambers that were built around the Beis HaMikdash. So it says that there were 33 of these chambers built around the Beis HaMikdash, but the Gemara darshans is here on Yerushalayim. Shalosh Ushloishim Pa'amim, 33 times. My Shalosh Ushloishim Pa'amim. I think it's the word Pa'amim here that's extra, so therefore darshans it on Yerushalayim. So Amar Rab Levi says about this, or others say Vitema Amar Rav Papa Mishum Rabbi Shua the Sichni, that there's two ways how to interpret this. Im Gimel Yerushalayim Hein, if Yerushalayim will be expanded 3 times to its size, the way it is now. So then Kolachas V'achas Yesh Bashloishim Madurim L'mayla. So then in every house that's going to be built in Yerushalayim will be 30 stories high. So the Shalish means the expansion 3 times the size, and the word Shloishim refers to the height of going 30 stories. Im Shloishim Yerushalayim Hein. So if Yerushalayim will be expanded 30 times the size, and that's the Shloishim, the expansion of 30 times the size, Kolachas V'achas, so then everybody, their house will be Yeshba Shloisha Midun L'mayla, will be the height, the story, 3 stories high. This is the conclusion of the Agadah here about Yerushalayim, Lev Yasan.